Badamasi, Portrait of a General, is now set to premiere in London on June 12, 2021. The biopic of Ibrahim Babangida, starring Enyinna Nwigwe, follows the life of IBB, as it's often called, as he attempts to guide an impossible African country to a viciously strained era. Obiomilonye, who produced and directed the film and also wrote it, joins us now from Cineworld Cinema at the O2, the venue of the premiere on June 12th. Welcome to Newsday, Obi.
Thank you, Shaita. Thank you very much.
All right, then let's get straight into it. Now, we're looking at a premiere in the UK. For a profile who is Nigerian, why are we having that? Is it because of the pandemic? Is there something stopping you from premiering in Nigeria right now?
First and foremost, I live in the UK, and as a filmmaker, I've made a tradition of premiering my films in the UK before I come to Nigeria with them. And that tradition continues with this. But also, peculiarly for this project, we've had what I consider to be, for want of a better word, a bit of pushback from certain quarters for this film to come out. So it would have come out in the cinemas in 2019, but that was scuppered by some political stuff. But, we're working through it, and hopefully we should be able to release the film imminently in Nigeria.
You strike me as someone who is very intentional, and you picked the date June 12th. We all know how important that date is to us here in Nigeria, of course. Why did you pick that day? Why did you think it was important to use this particular day for the premiere?
I think June 12th has become a very epochal, very important date as far as democracy is concerned in Nigeria, and it's become the Democracy Day, as you know. But even though MKO Abiola was the victim of that shenanigans that happened in that period, the real architect of all of the things that happened, the man who was at the helm of power at the time it happened, was IBB. So what apt scheduling if the life story of the person who orchestrated June 12th is released on the day that he made popular. Things happen in cycles. June 12, 1993 was a Saturday. June 12, 2021, when we're premiering the film, is also a Saturday. So there is a coincidence about it, which I did not create.
We have spoken about the back and forth. You were even here, I remember, last year to talk about this particular movie. But let's talk about how people are receiving it beyond the politics. Let's talk about reviews, the awards. How are people receiving it thus far?
Yes, it's been well received for the people that have seen the film. It's been closely guarded secret, I must say. It was entered in the AMA Award, Africa Movie Academy Awards, where it got 2 nominations, one for Enyinna Nwigwe as Best Leading Man and one for Visual Effects. So that tells you that the quality of the filmmaking is above board. But in terms of anticipation, there is a huge anticipation because of the politics, because of the controversy, because of the history, especially now that history is not taught in our schools anymore. It is an important part of the role of art to fill in that gap, to complement the vacuum of knowledge that exists for our children who do not understand where the rain started beating us from. So it is about looking back and reflecting on where we're going as a country. But we have to understand the past to demystify history, to be able to move forward.
Thank you so much for that. You did say the last time we spoke that you had to get express permission from IBB himself. And of course, you sat down with him to, get his first account of things that happened during that time. Now that you finally gotten a release date, how does he feel about that? Have you been in contact with him? I just want to know, if he's really anticipating this movie coming out as well. And I want to also know how you have, that the biggest challenge that you faced so far working up until this release date, June 12th.
No, I don't think IBB is anticipating this film. I think he's most uncomfortable about it because I made him understand that, for this film to work, he needs to give me a free hand. And for the healing to happen between him and history, for him to find some peace, he needs to come to this storytelling because a lot of books have been written about him, but our people don't read. And Nollywood has got to the stage where we have people's eyeballs. And the best way to communicate this story that everybody has been waiting for is through film. And for us to do that, he needs to be humble. He needs to be vulnerable. This story needs to unsettle him. Otherwise, we've failed. I've failed as a filmmaker. So it is important for him to understand that it's not an enjoyable process. It's not a PR exercise, that he has to eat humble pie and allow history to judge him fairly by being objective with what happened under his watch. And that's what we did. So the biggest challenge, besides finding the funding to make the film, which is always the problem, is releasing it. So it took me 3 years to get permission from IBB to tell the story. 3 years of going and doing and throwing Mina every 2 months or every 3 months to try and make my case. Eventually, I got it. I made the film in 2019, and I've been struggling since to release it because there has been a lot of red tape around the release in the cinemas and even on streaming platforms. There have been something that is unusual about requirements for cinema release that they've imposed on us. But we're working on it.
All right, then thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. Obi Omiloye, he's the writer, producer, and director of Badamasi, Portraits of a General. Thank you for joining us.